Good evening. Good evening. I hope this message finds you all doing well today. I am coming now for our December live Lose the Weight Behind the Weight as your weight loss encourager. And I'm praying and hoping that you are having a good time. We're almost at the end of the year, and so we're looking forward to making sure that we meet our goal. The goal is 5 pounds or more that you have lost between January 1st and December 31st. So we're coming down to the wire now. So I just hope that your journey is, if it's like mine, I'm like, ever since I started this, it has been so challenging for me. But I'm excited to know that I am not going to be the same weight that I was when I started this year. And so that's good. I wanted to lose more, but I'm happy that I'm where I am. And I'm these last 3 weeks, I'm going to push it out, push it really out. But I wanted you to know that I wanted to use the scripture, Deuteronomy 25:15, out of the King James Version Bible, that says, "But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee." Now, I am not a scholar, I'm not a minister, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a teacher of the word or anything, a student of the word to that extent. But when I saw that, I thought about my weight and the fact that the weight that he intended when he created me was supposed to be based on, like my doctor says, my body frame. So my body frame was designed by God when He created me to carry a certain amount of weight. And I have, through the years, many years, exceeded that beyond what I was supposed to. So when I read that scripture, it says, "A perfect and just measure shall thou have." In other words, God had already chosen and designed by my bone structure, by my body, by even my family bloodline, depending on your bloodline. Some people are hippie, some people carry their weight in different places. Uh, I've inherited some things on both sides, but most on my father's side. And, but nevertheless, still, it was the perfect and just weight that he designed when he created us, and a just measure shall we have based on how we take care of that. And so I took that and know that when you talk to doctors, they always say, well, you want to extend your days, and weight can hinder, cause all different types of ailments and things that could come upon you that you normally don't have to have if you keep yourself at a good weight and eat healthy. Well, we know some people can keep themselves at a good health weight and still be unhealthy by different other practices and things that they're doing. But for obesity, if that's going to be your lifestyle, if that has become your lifestyle like it was mine over all the years, up and down, it's not good for your body. And so I started praying, okay, God, the just weight that you created for me was perfect. The body frame was perfect, so that I could have the lengthened days that you've established, that you had established me, and that I did not do anything on my own to kind of hinder that based on my habits, my addiction, my food addiction, and all of that, and my behavior patterns is to food, and how I use that to compensate for other things in my life. And so it's interesting because this particular holiday, I was unable, due to dietary restrictions, to be able to consume the things I normally would have consumed, and I didn't miss it. However, I realized I had to talk myself well, into this particular mindset. I've had it before. It's nothing new. You just won't be having it today, and I was fine with that. The health of my body is more important to me than having something that I know is not good for me right now. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about real briefly is make sure you stay encouraged about these last few weeks, and that remember you are the model for advancing God's kingdom in deliverance as you're getting healed from obesity, as you're moving out of those food addiction trigger points and different things that are consistently causing you to stay in the cycle. Stop the cycle. We're coming off of the cycle of obesity. We're just stopping it altogether. And we're presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice. So, all the negativity, we're losing the weight behind the weight because of all the negativity that may have started this with you, or you may know your beginning point, you may not know your beginning point, but any of the negativity, any of the repeated cycles, the unbelief that you may have that you may not be able to obtain success in this area, the self conflicting behaviors you may do, the self sabotaging. You are holy and acceptable to God, and we're going to stop the obesity cycle. We're going to stop the negative words. We're going to stop eating our negative behaviors. And I'm going to say something about that. One thing I noticed on this journey that he's been showing me when I'm losing the weight behind the weight is not the pounds. It's not even the food. That's pretty much under control. What he's showing me is the trigger areas of my life or how I respond to certain things was directly correlated to how the food choices I made, or when I ate, how I ate, what I used to maybe suppress some feelings, suppress some disappointment, suppress some anger, to suppress some frustration. Those are the things that I really encounter, and I was like, no, I'm not supposed to be doing this, and I didn't realize that it was so easy to be done until it happened. And so recently, over the past year, I would say, whether it was friends, family, um, those are the daggers that can really be hard. But no matter what, who or what, I had to now learn how to place my emotions, my feelings, my responses, or lack of responses thereof, in a position where it did not put me in a position to want to uh, calm myself or uh, use food as a way to kind of, you know, compensate for whatever those emotions were at those times. And so I just wanted to make sure that you knew how, you know, that you're aware of your trigger points. You're aware of what those things can be environmentally speaking, whether it's people or places you go or whatever. What I've learned is that when he sets you apart and you are on a healing journey, you do get set apart, and you may, and then when you have those things happen to you, he's challenging you and testing you to see, are you going to give that more weight, which is going to put more weight on you if you eat food to just, to compensate for it, or are you going to, it happen, and you decide how you're going to respond to it. Just make sure it's that I get the glory from it, and then that you move on. It's not something that you're carrying. You're not sitting on it. You're not contemplate. You're not keep addressing it. You lose it. You lose it and keep moving, because that's not you. And other people's, what I've learned too on this journey, I'm just gonna be honest. It goes back to when I was a child, where the kids used to tease me, or the kids in the neighborhood used to pick at me, and the kids at the schools or at the church or whatever used to talk about me or pick at me because of my weight. And then I noticed that because I had the weight, they treated me differently than people who didn't have weight. I mean, they didn't talk down to other people like they talked down to me, or they didn't say things like they do to me. And I'm finding that even still in my adulthood. And so I was like, why is that? Why is there a difference between how you're communicating with me, which I'm not giving back to you? Why is that communication so important? It's almost as if it gives them a license, they feel, to make themselves feel better than me because I don't look a certain way. And that was very interesting for me. And I have a background in psychology, so I'm studying human behavior. I understand. But what has helped me through this is my faith. And that's why we're losing the weight behind the weight, and we're using our faith. When you know who you are and whose you are, I don't care what size you are. I don't care what scars you may have, noticeably, unnoticeably. I don't care what has gone through in your life. You still are chosen by God. He still loves you. You're here because he has a purpose for you. He's designed for you to still go forth and do great exploits. So there are a lot of people who are obese who have been very successful in their careers and they've risen above. Doesn't mean that they don't possibly go through the same type of experiences that you may have or I may have experienced, but it's how they used it. And so some people use that for fuel, for energy to say, well, I'm gonna rise above this and I'll show you, or I know I'm not gonna let you keep me at this place. I just saw some articles recently since I've been on the last month, is that there are now articles coming out. Obese people are treated differently in the workplace. Obese people are treated prejudice. Obesity people are treated different on the planes. Obesity people are treated different in the. I mean, it was just so much coming out, and I was like, wow. And it's almost as if this awareness now is coming up about treating people because of how they look. And I remember I've said this before, when I walk in the room or a restaurant, people look at me and they see exactly what I'm wearing, my issue, my addiction, my who I am, because they can tell that food has become a part of my lifestyle. However, when they are coming to the room, no one knows whether they're alcoholic, whether they're a drug dealer, whether whether they are um, a wife beater, whether they are a molester, whether they are a rapist, whether they are a liar, whether a cheater, whether they, I mean, we don't know who they are. We can't see it. We don't even know if they're alcoholic until if they you sit there and watch them drink or whatever. But sometimes you can't even tell that. But when a person is even in the doctor's office, this is when I realized this year, and no, last year is when I realized the prejudice that comes. And I have medical professionals in my family. I've worked with medical professionals that come when you're obese versus someone who walks in the room and they're normal size, and it's just so unfair. However, you have to get past that and you have to be your own advocate. So what losing the weight behind the weight taught me is to be my own advocate. My advocate, because I'm the daughter of the king. I'm the child of God. He created me, and even though I may have this issue and I wear it, it does not give you license. It doesn't give you license to speak to me any kind of way. It doesn't at least give you license to go off on me any kind of way. It doesn't give you license to to try to devalue my value. It doesn't give you any license to for all of those things. And so that's when I realized that I was stronger. And when I heard him say, lose the weight behind the weight, I had to go all the way back to my childhood. And I had to go back to, I can pinpoint probably what has allowed me to be in this position for a minute. And I had to go back there and I had to deal with that. And I had to deal with every issue, whether it was from family members, whether it was from uh, so called friends, whether it was from the job, whether it was from employers, whether it was from the church members, whether it was from, I mean, because I got a lot through the church as well. No matter, it didn't matter. It just was how I chose to handle that. And so my healing began. People are going to ask me, well, how did you lose the weight? Well, I lost the weight behind the weight. I want to be honest with you all. I'm losing weight, physically weight. I've done this before. I got to one number. And I was like, I'm trying to get to this number. And God was like, you've already been at that number before. You've been at that number like 4 times. You've lost weight at least 4 times to get past that number. So why are we still in the cycle? But to put that aside, the reason why I'm saying this is because I want you to, I'm being so transparent with you. I want you to understand that you have to sometimes go back and revisit everything that has contributed to the lifestyle that you have adopted that wasn't attended, and your behavior with that lifestyle, and what allowed you to feel comfortable staying there. And so it has been a very interesting journey with that said, because the accountability, I told you all before, this type of weight loss program is an accountability weight loss program. It's not me getting to 120 pounds to say that I've arrived. I'm going to be honest with you. I have been going through this for at least 4 years now, with the going back and dealing with the issues behind the issue of all the different, and recognizing my patterns, and recognizing how I responded and recognizing when I started to use food as a compensation for my feelings, my emotions, and all of that. And then I was like, wait. And then I started realizing when I was doing that somewhat, the food didn't taste good. It was like a temporary fix. And then I was like, it didn't mean anything. I still had those emotions. I still was feeling whatever those feelings were. So it was how now was I going to reprogram myself to be able to understand that these emotions are real. These emotions are what how you feel, but you don't use food to compensate for that. You use your faith, you use your validation of who you are, and you use your purpose, and you use the understanding by which, what am I supposed to learn from this, how am I supposed to overcome this, how am I supposed to excel in this area. And as a result of that, now I'm stronger than ever, but the weight seems to be taking longer to get off, but yet the weight is coming off because I'm losing some of those uh, what I call they're not tangible, but intangible factors, whether it's emotionally, mentally. Those are the things that I'm losing. And so when I lose the weight and get on the scale, I'm losing the weight behind the weight so that I don't have to come through this cycle again. I'm done. I'm not coming through this cycle again. I'm not going to get any surgery or anything like that, but I am not, I can do this. I've done it before, but this time I'm not doing it anymore. And now I'm looking, and I think God is allowing me to have more time. Thank God for His grace, more time to understand where I am, who I am, how I'm going through this, how I'm being healed through this, how He's given me the ability to heal this through when His Son got on that cross. Excuse me, food addiction and obesity was already at the cross. So I don't have to repeat it anymore. I don't have to live through it anymore. And it's by my hand. No one's forcing me to eat. No one's forcing the food choices that I'm making. No one's forcing why I eat. No one's forcing where I go to eat. But yet, it's by my hand, and it's by my decision to say I want this when really I really didn't want that. I just chose that as a temporary, you know, fix or a temporary uh, uh, comfort food. I say comfort food because I used to like a lot of sugar things. But basically, I wanted you to be encouraged to know that you're a holy vessel chosen by God for greatness. I wanted you to know that even though I'm being totally honest with you, that by my hand I ate wrong for the wrong reasons. But yet I'm turning that to the right reasons, and I'm turning that to the right choices in my food selections and the right way in which to eat, and not to say I can't have this and I can't have that. I can within moderation, so I'm learning how that to do that as well. But more importantly, I'm getting so much more assurance of my value and of my destiny and this new track I'm on. I'll tell you about those things later. But some other things have happened in these 3 to 4 years that is has just I never would have thought would have happened that I would have been doing. That obviously was already in me and is now able to come out of me because I'm laying aside all the other weight. And now the things that I was destined to do or created to do are now at the forefront, and it's just moving, and I'm excited and I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to bless you as I go along and get blessed as well. Every day I get up now, it's different. Meditation. I was always, I'm a worshiper. So meditation is not necessarily something I had to do because I know how to get into the presence of God. I know how to minister to Him. I know how to worship God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I know how to have that those moments, and I lived as a worshiper. So worship didn't start when I was worshiping in church and worshiping um, on worshiping before the people. And then when I left, all of a sudden I changed. No, my worship became my lifestyle, and it still is. And I'm excited about that because even as let me say this too, even as you go through your success and you reach your goal, there's going to be a place where it's going to be now what? Well, now what is you keep going because even though you've lost the weight, doesn't mean that there's not more weight because there's going to be more responsibility. There's going to be more doors open. There's going to be more things that you're going to be doing, that you're going to be discovering, and you can't allow those things and or those opportunities and or those advancements and or those successes or even some of the even the trials and the challenges to kick you back into the cycle. So we're stopping this cycle of obesity for good. And we are literally giving our bodies as a living sacrifice, saying, that perfect weight and just weight that you had established for me when you created me, I'm gonna find out what that was. And my doctor told me he went by my frame. And then also he told me, he said, look at your hands. He said, your pinky, he says, whatever what your pinky looks like, that's similar to what your bone structure or your body. And so you look at that and look at you, and you kind of bypassed it a lot. I remember my doctor telling me that. That was really amazing. So I'll, at the end of the month, I'll be able to tell you where I am at that point. Hopefully, I'll get the goal I want to get to. But I know right now I'm not where I was when I first started, so I'm excited about that part. I want to make sure that also I want to talk about this. Sometimes during the holidays, not only do we go, we eat, we have fun with family, but there's some things that could come up too that are trigger points emotionally, mentally, and can have a weight on you physically that can last into 3 to 4 weeks or even to the new year, that you're still carrying. I want, if that happened to you, if you had to face someone you didn't want to face, if you had to see something you didn't want to see, if you were reminded that you were rejected by the guy that you had a crush on for 6 years or whatever, and you had ran into him, and you know, whatever. If there was something, whether in your family, out of your family, environmentally, from school or from college or whatever that you experienced that tried to suppress you and depress you now that that holiday is over, and but you still had to address it. I want you to get out of it. I want you to do whatever you need to do to get past that, because that is one of those cycles that you're going to have to master. You're going to have to, it may have happened, it may have hurt, it may have bothered you still. You don't know why it's still bothering you. If it was a soul issue, that's probably why it's still there. You have to decide whether how much longer you want to give it weight. And when you decide you want to lose that weight, you'll get rid of it. And it doesn't take you getting with another person. It doesn't take you going to see a therapist. It doesn't take you all that. It just takes you going back to the master, the one who created you, going back and understanding that Christ, when he died on the cross, he had already taken care of that you had to deal with. And it's at the cross. So why are you still carrying it? You also have to go back and you have to learn, this is the big word, forgiveness, on a major way. A lot of our weight loss is going to come off by forgiveness. I'm serious. And it's not just the forgiveness of other people, but it's the forgiveness of yourself. And then the third thing is to know that God has forgiven you. So you don't have to stay there. If he's forgiven you, then accept the forgiveness and move forward. So I really wanted to be an encouragement to you. You know that our motto here is, how bright is your weight loss success, your weight loss journey? You have a very bright destiny in where you're headed. And so I want you to be encouraged. That's why I'm called the weight loss encourager. We're not going to talk about food. We're not going to talk about exercises. We're not going to talk about it. The only thing I suggest is you use your faith to lose the weight. And supernaturally, I will promise you, supernaturally, you will experience some weight loss. There are days I got on the scale, I was like, wait, what? Most of the what I'm almost sure those pounds that I lost had nothing to do with my food and my eating that day. It had to do with some things that I laid before him, and I got it. I said, I want this gone. I want this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. I don't want this weight on me anymore. I don't even want to address it anymore. I'm done. And so doing, what happened is, supernaturally, I say, I got on the scale and I lost weight. So I do believe supernaturally he heals us. His divine hand is already upon us. And when he knows that you're sincere, that you will do things maybe, or like I did. I thought I was eating I was on a plan, a eating schedule. But I know that that moment, that time when I decided, I just need to come before you and lay this. This really is bothering me. This is what, and I let it go. And I said, when I get up, I'm not going to take that with me. I'm not picking this up again. I'm not addressing it again. So that's weight gone. I don't care who the person is. I don't care what was said. I don't care what was done. I'm done. I've moved forward. It happened. Can't change it. Forgiveness and keep moving. Um, I had a brother. He always kept saying, he was really my brother-in-law, but our family ain't the brother. He was a brother I never had, and he kept saying, he used to always say this phrase, "Keep it moving." And I believe that we need to understand how to just do that. And I think what stops the cycle, to be honest with you, is to not allow yourself to be put back into a state by your mind, by your response, by your receiving. I'm going to talk on that in a minute. That keeps you in that cycle. Let me talk about receiving. You determine whether or not you're going to receive and accept and hold on and nourish that pain, nourish that negativity, nourish that um, being cast out, or nourish that being totally someone making you feel like you're less than, or nourishing all of that disappointment, nourishing that all of that rejection. You determine. And if you're going to choose to keep allowing those factors to impact who you are, you must get stronger in the word. You must get stronger, closer relationship with God. And if you don't know, just lay before him and say, I keep doing this. I need you to take this off of me. Show me how to get this off of me. I believe who you say I am. I know who I am in you. I know you love me. I know that I'm worthy. I know, and there are some things even in life that you may not have achieved or received, like me. There are, but then that doesn't mean that I'm still worthless. I still have value. And for the mere fact that I'm here talking to you, lets you know that I still have value because he's still using me. He still has a purpose for me. Same thing for you. So let's make this brightness of our journey, and this brightness of our celebration of our healing, and this brightness of our celebration of our deliverance, and this brightness of the celebration of our promotion, um, being of losing the weight behind the weight and just seeing ourselves transform into what he initially intended, laying aside every weight that easily besets us. We are there. We are who he needs right now in the kingdom to be advanced right here on earth so that people can see that he is a healer through us. And so I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be inspired. I want you to know that during this holiday, I want you to just radiate with all the lights that are going up, and um, the beauty that's out with everyone decorating. I want you to decorate yourself. I want you to decorate your faith. I want you to decorate the beauty of his holiness upon your life. I want you to decorate that you are the model and that you're a beautiful model. I don't care what size you are. And when you walk in the room, you command that you are just that. I have learned that when my confidence is at the level that it should be, and I am embracing who I am, and it's really amazing. It doesn't matter my weight. I've had men come to me that I would have never talked to me probably. Um, I probably need to be 120 pounds or something for them to like come up on me or whatever. But it didn't matter because I exuded this confidence, and I wasn't doing it just to be doing it because I walked in. I'm there. I'm actually know that God chose me. Um, that's why the seed before me and the seed after me didn't get in. It was me that came through for a reason. Same thing with you. So my value has always been validated from the day that I came here. And I'm not going to let anyone devalue that, including me. So I have now this anchor that's even stronger in my faith. and it's really exciting. It's really another thing. Let me say this too. His promises are true. You start discovering things you didn't even know. He's downloading things to me. I have to have pieces of paper all over the place now in my car, everywhere. I just have a piece of paper and pen because I never know when I'm going to get something. And I remember someone told me when the Spirit of God is unloading like that on you, downloading to you like that, you got to catch it because if you miss it, you may not get it again. And they are so right. I could go in one room, and I know when I was eating, I heard this, and I didn't get up and get a piece of paper to write it down. By the time I got into the other part of the house, I was like, okay, what was that? What? And then all day I'm like, Lord, please give it back to me. Please show me back what I missed. I know you gave me. I heard it. Listen, I started buying me those tapes players that the doctors used to use to speak into well after they did your session or whatever, just so that I wouldn't miss anything or use your phone, whatever. But let me tell you, there is when he sees you being obedient, he literally starts revealing so much to you. It is totally amazing. So now I have all these pieces of paper that I have to sit down and just need to put it transcribe everything to the computer and into a file because these are all the things that I'm getting on this journey and it's really life changing and it really is good. So thank you so much for listening. I did not mean to talk this long, but I just want you to be encouraged this December. I want you to be encouraged this year. God has kept you. I want you to be encouraged about the brightness of your weight loss journey as we go forward. Even in the winter of times, we are going to see the glory and the beauty of His holiness upon us, male or female. So continue to enjoy. I want to share with you one of my other shirts. The last time I had on No More 275. So now I had a shirt made for myself. It says No More 250. As you can see, I've got a lot here, but the guy made them kind of really big. I'm not gonna have my shirts with those letters as big, but it's okay. But yeah, I'm celebrating No More 250. I'm so excited to not see that number anymore. And so as I continue to go to my weight loss journey, I'm excited to enjoy my successes. So this shirt is I went and had it made as a part of me celebrating me and my journey and my goal and my being able to meet my goal, that particular goal. Now I'm towards the next goal, and you'll see as I keep going. I keep going to get things done to uh, celebrate me. So remember how bright is your journey and your weight loss journey. Continue to be inspired, continue to be blessed. And we'll be talking. I might come on again next week as well. I wanted to wait a little bit. So this is what, the 8th or 9th? So I'll probably come right before Christmas. I'll probably come. And then, of course, I'll be coming the week after Christmas because we'll be getting ready to celebrate going into the new year. So be safe, be prayerful. Everybody stay safe. And we're looking forward to your weight loss journey and how bright your journey is, and to the process. And you're growing and maturing and getting closer to God, and also getting closer to the image that He created you for such a time as now, and advancing His kingdom. And more importantly, for you being a wonderful model for the kingdom of God, right where you are, even as you continue to get healed and move forward into another dimension of who you are. God bless you and talk to you soon. Bye.